So let's talk a little bit about the full-time job search timeline. So this is going to change a little bit based on your major, but I would say overall about 95% of students are going to fall into this standard timeline. If you're looking to join a Big Four organization, a Fortune 500 company, or a very large firm, then you can look for some of those open positions and the application to be open for those positions within the fall before the year you graduate. So if you're graduating in May of 2019, for example, you would look to actually see some of those positions for major companies online anytime starting in July all the way through November for full-time employment. Obviously, the earlier that you apply, the better your chances are for actually receiving an interview. So it's important that you don't waste your summer thinking that you can apply in the fall during fall recruitment, when a lot of the early start students will have already submitted and possibly received confirmation or first round interviews for those larger companies. All the rest of the jobs you're actually going to apply for once you know the start date of your OPT. So let me give you an example, because a lot of students have had problems understanding when they can apply for their EAD and OPT cards, when they can pick, what day they should pick, and how that affects their timeline. So let's walk through an example. Let's assume that you are graduating in May of 2019. That means that your OPT can start anytime on either the day you graduate up to 2 months after you graduate. So if you graduated on May 20th of 2019, you could choose your OPT start date to be May 20th, or you could choose for it to be July 20th. So it's your option for the date that you want to choose since you fill out the form for the OPT authorization. You can apply for your OPT up to 90 days before your graduation date. Right now, it's important to apply for your OPT as soon as possible, since the USCIS is taking almost 5 months to send those EAD/OPT cards in the mail, and you cannot legally work until you have that card. When you fill out applications online for employment, they always ask you what your anticipated start date is. If you choose anything that is over a month from the date that you're applying, your application is almost immediately discarded. So if you're applying for full-time jobs months before you graduate, you're actually just wasting your time. You need to wait until you have your OPT date set, and then about 2 months or a little over 2 months before your graduation date, that is when you can actually start searching for full-time jobs. And that timeline can take you as little as 2 months to find a job, all the way up to 6 to 8 months, depending on how hard and how actively you search.